Shaun, how did you find carnivore?
Hi, Dave. Yes, great question. In 2023, I decided I need to do something about pain. I'd been diagnosed with arthritis for a number of years, and I tried everything, and the pain was so bad that waking up in the middle of the night and just having to lie on my back because it was my hips, my lower back, my shoulders, doing anything on the computer, which I was a computer programmer at one stage in my life, became very painful. And my eyesight also deteriorating at the same time. It made life pretty miserable, so pretty anxious and depressed about things. Um, Although I could still do a little bit on the computer with email, and I could press on a button and make some websites talk back to me so I could hear what websites were saying. So that was mid 2023, June 11th to be specific, and I'd been diagnosed with arthritis. In 2006, I was diagnosed as legally blind with a condition called retinitis pigmentosa, which is denoted by typically night blindness. Um, your rods and cone cells start to die. Your rods doing your night blindness. So a lot of people get night blindness first, and you've lost your peripheral vision. And so, so things in 2023 were pretty dark. I guess I looked around for something to do, and because the painkillers weren't working, the injections, cortisol injections, cortisone, nothing was working. So I looked around for anti-inflammatory diets because I got some sort of thought in the back of my mind that arthritis was caused by inflammation, and inflammation is caused by sugar. I still to this day don't know where that came from, but I think it's true. Inflammation is caused by sugar. So I was looking for anti-inflammatory diets. I found a few. I decided to try keto. I did keto for about 6 weeks and realized that it was working pretty good. I was starting to get rid of the pain. I was feeling a lot better with my anxiety and depression. The sugar addiction had lifted pretty much, and the maybe the initial oxalate dumping that I had was going away as well, or slowing down. But also my eyesight seemed to be looking a bit better, and so I went to an optometrist, and the so I think I tracked back a little bit. I started the diet because of the pain, but I cut out the plants altogether. So keto was fine, but I hadn't found carnivore because I was just looking at talking to the phone and pressing buttons on the phone, just randomly pressing on the screen, trying to get something to play up on YouTube. Um, so it was I didn't really find the carnivore diet till after I started. Didn't find any of the influences, and certainly, Dave, I didn't find yourself. So I just decided that after that first 6 weeks, things were going better. I just cut out the plants altogether. I basically run out of um, plants in the fridge. I had plenty of meat and decided to just do the meat. And that first test that I did, the first eye test that I did, showed that I was seeing some letters in my right eye. And just for context, in 2006, I was legally blind. 2018, I had a test, and there was no letters on the eye chart in either eye. So 2023, to be able to see some letters on the eye chart was quite remarkable. So I kept on going with the diet and kept on researching more. I'm talking to the phone. I'm randomly pressing on the screen trying to find content. Um, and my initial visit to the optometrist, he said, "Well, you have cataracts." So that was news to me. In 2018, I didn't have any cataracts. It was on the report, and so I went to an ophthalmic surgeon. The ophthalmologist he said, "Yep, you've got cataracts, and we can deal with that." So I decided to deal with the cataracts straight away. So I did my right eye within a few weeks. So I started the diet in June. I had this cataract operation in August, so it's really quite quickly after that. Um, so to give you some idea of the improvement was over the next um, over the next 6 months or so, my eyesight went from the 6/30, or in fact, one of them was a 6/60, which is effectively the very, very top of the chart, the very biggest letters in the chart. And I kept going to get tests done at irregular intervals. So I got a 6/21 and a 6/18. The smaller the number, the better. 6/15 is all in my right eye. A 6/12. Um, and this is now 2024, and I did World Carnivore Month, January World Carnivore Month. I did the lion diet, and I'm glad I did, because it actually, the contrast between the lion diet and just, I guess ketovore, which is what I have to call myself before that, ketovore. Lion diet, strict lion diet with just red meat and water was uh, gave me a lot more benefits, I believe. And certainly that showed on the test results, because in my right eye, we're up to 6/12, um, and that progressed into 6/9, so getting down the row. And in my left eye, it got 3 letters at the start of 2025. This year. So I'm just going forward a little bit further so we can get a few of the test results up on the screen. So, Dave, if I ask you to put the first test result was from Dr. Birch. So he's the ophthalmic surgeon, and I had 2 ophthalmic surgeons, but he's done one cataract and the other guy did another cataract. So if you can see the first test was 6/60. So that's a very, very top of the chart. And after all those months and months of diet and having the cataract operation as well, I got down to a 6/9+1. I think that's what's on the chart.
Mm.
So, and my most recent test result on the eye chart was a 6/7.5-2. So that is the second last line on the chart. This is again in my right eye, and all the doctors are really, really pleased. I have been in contact with Dr. James Muki, who, Dave, you've actually had on your channel. He's a
Yeah,
low
that's
carb
right.
advocate. Mm. So Dr. Muki, his last comment was they're ecstatic for my results. They have written up my case to be published in the literature. I'm not
Sorry, could you just talk a little bit about what his position is, just for context for the audience?
Sure, sure. So Dr. James Muki, he is a now retired ophthalmic surgeon. James is also 2020 Australian of the Year for his contribution to health, to people's lives in Australia. He's a really lovely person. Um, so I got in touch with James and said, "This is what's going on with me," and instantly suggested, "This is great. We need to document it." So I documented it. I did extra tests, all the tests that you possibly can do, and I've been to Sydney a number of times to get some advanced testing done. So yeah, the aim of the game is there's a PhD that's doing the writing up the case study, and James and the PhD, Lewis, they're looking to publish it. Now, I think there is some difficulties and something to do with self-publishing. I'm not quite sure all the intricacies, but we are looking for further cases to write up as a case series. So if you're listening to this and you have had some remarkable, it doesn't have to be remarkable vision improvements, maybe even just some vision improvements that you've been able to document with a doctor, with an optometrist or ophthalmic doctor, ophthalmologist, that would be great. I guess you can get in contact with me and I'll pass your details along. Um, yeah. So that's Dr. Muki.
That's fantastic. Um,
Hmm.
so, with all this improvement, um, your day-to-day life must have improved so much.
Wow. You just you cannot believe what I've gone through. I've gone from everything being blurry, I mean literally everything blurry all the time, and constantly flashing, with bouts of visual snow where everything turns white, um, and floaters. I mean, people talk about floaters, but that's nothing compared to what I have to deal with. Walking around my backyard, running into trees or bushes, running into furniture constantly, that sort of thing. That was my daily. And like I mentioned before, I couldn't see anything on the phone. It was just a blur. I could like it's an iPhone. When the phone rings, I have the option of trying to find how to swipe because you got to do that kind of accurately or see who it is. Couldn't really do either. And now I run a YouTube channel from my phone. I run social media from the phone, and you can imagine some of the things you have to do. It's very small, fine icons. Yeah, the thumbs up, thumb down button. Replying to people's messages, comments on all the social media is now possible. And whereas I could use the computer a little bit before with my previous skills, of course. I mean, I've found a way to get the computer to do what I need. And now, I mean, I've built a brand new AI computer. Someone did the hardware. I did all the software. Installed beautiful Linux installation with a Cinnamon desktop. I'm running DaVinci Resolve in Linux and all these AI tools. I don't really want to go and pay to do online, like with Google or whoever, to pay for the AI images and videos because my eyesight really isn't that good enough to say that image is better than that one, is better than that one. So I'd just be wasting a lot of time and money trying to do that. But what I can do now is to use that technology to help develop scripts, to help then use my current setup to create AI images and clips. So basically, I can feed a script in and ask it to produce prompts, and then I can feed the prompts into the system. So So whereas every 10th image might be kind of okay, Jimmy comes along and says, "No, this is all garbage. You can't use any of it," which is fine. At least I didn't have to pay a whole heap of big tech, a whole bunch of money to do stuff that I cannot validate. Hey, sit down. Shh. Sit. Sorry, my guide dog's just tapping around. Okay, so I'm talking about computers because that's kind of my passion. I used to be a programmer, and I want to get back into doing some coding. And I've even tried a few things out. But other things in daily life, I should say, being able to see the ground. So I'm not running into stuff in the backyard anymore. I can actually see the ground, so I can navigate around quite well. I still find myself sort of feeling around for stuff because I've spent nearly 2 decades being legally blind, and you get used to feeling and hearing your environment. So I'm still using all those hearing and touch sort of cues that I'd normally do, with the added benefit that now I can remember, I can now look at stuff and try to figure things out. I still need to use I need to use a light to read any physical mail that comes through the mail box from a postman. Um, but anything electronic on the computer or phone, I'm all over it. It sometimes takes a little bit of time to find where the OK button is, or find where the mouse is, for example. Um, but I can make things out, and that's Dave. I mean, that's gone from basically blind to being able to see again. That's what it is, and anybody
It's
can figure that out. Just close your eyes for a while. That's blind. Then open them up. Now you can see. That's my
mm,
life. It's night and
it's
day.
amazing. And the thing that strikes me about your story is a lot of people start carnivore thinking about stuff like weight loss and whatever, and then they see all the other benefits like the joint pain and that kind of thing going away, and then
Mm,
the weight loss becomes like just a secondary kind of cherry on top kind of thing. And
yeah.
uh, from what you say, it almost feels a little bit like that for you. Like you started for the arthritis, and
Yes.
maybe now, I mean, no one's going to complain about arthritis going away, but that has become more of a cherry on top because you got your vision back.
Yeah. Yeah. The arthritis, the anxiety, depression, constipation, high blood pressure. Um, just the feeling of every day is going to be the same as the day before. Um, there's no hope, and now there's hope. I've got plans to do stuff, and just didn't have anything going on before. So life is just life's beautiful. It's really good.
That's awesome.
Hmm.
So you mentioned high blood pressure. Are you on any meds now, or are you giving them all away?
No, no, I'm taking no medication. I actually don't even believe I need to.
Right.
I was just trying to think. The last time I talked to my doctor, his sign off, like we'd finished the phone appointment, his sign off was, "Do you want any statins?" Like he literally said to me, it was kind of like, "Do you want any lollies, or you want me to sneak you some cigarettes? Do you want any statins?" He said it like that. It's just, "Well, no, I don't want any metabolic poison. Why would I? I've already proven that I have I've got a 0 CAC score. So why would I?" So I haven't gone back to the doctor. I don't feel like I need to either. Although I've been to many, many eye doctors because I'm chasing these test results, and I've found out a lot of information about testing of eyes, and how you can go to one eye doctor and do a test, and go to a different eye doctor, do the same test, and you'll get a different result because tests are not standardized. And eye tests are not standardized, which blows me away. You'd think they would be.
Your doctor saying, "Would you like some statins?" It's almost like the way he said it. It's almost like I need to get my prescribing quota up for the month. Do you want something? Can I give you anything?
Yeah, I don't know if it's just like a knee jerk reaction. I've got to do this, or whether it's part of the script. It's on the screen. Tick. I've got to tick the box. I don't know what went through his head, because he knows real full well that I'm doing this carnivore diet. And he's the same guy that went keto as well, and thought he had constipation because he didn't do any research. He just, you
Oh, so it was a case
know.
of because he wasn't feeling the need to go to the toilet every 3 minutes. He was like, "Oh, I must be constipated."
Yeah, he actually told me. I laughed my head off at him. He's drinking Metamucil because he thinks he's all blocked up. reality is the meat's being absorbed, and there's nothing to come out. So that's and that's just the same with me. I mean, I went to the toilet this morning, and yeah, it's just clean, easy. It's fine. I might not need to go number two for a number of days, and yeah, it's not a problem. Not a problem.
It,
Everything's
it's
great.
actually it's actually funny when I talk about this with people because it always makes me think, when was the last time? you, you know, because it's not like when you're doing a regular diet, it's like constant because it's like I've got to get
Yeah,
rid of my body's got to get rid of all this garbage that I'm pumping into it.
yeah. It used to be. It's like, what did I eat yesterday? I can't remember what I ate yesterday. Now it's just like, when was the last time I went for a poo? Was it yesterday? The day before? Doesn't really matter anymore. But I did avoid dairy there for quite a while because it was causing me some visual snow. I've hooked back into the dairy a bit, and yeah, I'm loving the oysters, loving seafood, loving eggs, and I'm pretty much constant with the beef and lamb. A little bit of bacon, a little bit of pork, not too much. And that's usually just one meal a day. Usually, sometimes I'm doing a bit more on the computer, especially if it's sort of in the evening. I've got some emergency sausages, so I cook up emergency sausages. And that's my late night snack. Um, I've come across a lot of people that are getting vision improvements. At the start of this year, I decided to create a playlist on my channel. People on the carnivore diet was it people on the carnivore diet reporting vision improvements. It's a playlist. There's over 70 people there, and I don't get a chance to watch every video that comes out. So to have that amount of people just say, tell their story, mainly on your channel, Dave, say that this is that and that and that and this and that and that's happened to them. Oh yeah, and their eyesight's improved. I'm hearing this over and over and over again. So I think even by virtue of me doing what I'm doing, raising the awareness that you possibly can help your eyesight, other people are noticing the effects. So
Yeah, it's
yeah,
uh, it's astounding that these problems that basically you're just written off as, well, there's nothing you can do, like macular degeneration and glaucoma and that kind of thing. People going through the hell of having injections put in their eyes, and now they don't need to have that done anymore.
yeah, yeah. I'm in a few disability groups to do with retinitis pigmentosa, to do with my eyesight. Um, and the last, and I got kicked out of a group, which is not the first time it's happened because people just, yeah, they're really triggered when you say that the carnivore diet might help your eyesight. Um, so I'm in a few of these groups, and I think I'm starting to get a little bit more traction. I'm starting to sort of see some people say, and there was this one lady, and she was saying that her 9-year-old daughter was told, her and her 9-year-old daughter was told, there's no cure and there's nothing you can do. So I did a big post, I did a big video about censorship last week, and I managed to infiltrate and get back into this group and post this thing all about censorship. And this lady basically said, I've been waiting for someone to say this because there is something you can do. My 9-year-old daughter needs some hope, something that she can work towards. So people, I think, are starting to come around slowly, but there's a lot of pushback, and I'm finding ways to tackle that, but it's not easy. It really isn't.
I'm shocked that they kicked you out though, you know, because as you say, it should be these places should be a way where you can just share your experience and say, okay, maybe it's not going to work for you, but this is what I did, and I'm having improvements this way, you
Yeah,
know, especially like for something like eyesight, like you mentioned with the 9-year-old girl, you need some hope, you need something to hold on to, you know.
yeah, that's right. And I think without even thinking about it, you know that diet directly affects your health. I mean, if this 9-year-old person, decided that junk food and lollies was going to be the rest of her life, then not only is she going to be damaging her eyes, what use she may have been able to get out of them, but she's damaging her overall health. And that frightens me, that people are so complacent to think that this diet just cannot do what we're saying it can do. Um, the admin in this Facebook group was a nurse, and I did get a bit of a chance to talk to her. And she was just she did a post trying to debunk the carnivore diet, riddled with false claims. So my censorship video was also a debunking video. But it's kind of typical that a nurse, someone that has some sort of training, just thinks, or anybody that's done some reading, just thinks they know the science. And I think what we're saying is there is no science that can inform on any hard outcome with nutrition. It's never been done and probably never will be. So if you're waiting for someone to tell you what to do, if you're waiting for a clinical trial for a drug, and that's what you're going to have to do. But if you want to try something for yourself, um, carnivore's the way. I truly believe it is.
Definitely. Yeah, I think that's really well said. There's when they talk about the studies and like these days, I just switch off. You know, it's and I think one of the important things is, even when they have these occasional studies come out that somewhat support carnivore, I don't pay any attention to them either because they're all the same. They can't actually inform us on any particular thing. The best predictor we've got of how we're going to do is really how we're feeling when we're eating a particular way. And
Yeah.
so if you're feeling great on vegan or whatever, go at it, do what you want. But
Mm.
we feel good. Our body's telling us we're doing the right thing by eating our meat and eggs diet. So let's just keep doing that.
Yeah, yeah. And I think in all the studies that have been done to date are misleading because they've basically been done on a mixed macro um, basis, so fat, protein, and carbs. So what I think we wanting to see is get rid of the carbs and do that study, even if it is going to be somewhat short term. Um, I think we want to see that. But yeah, I think you're right. If something that you're doing is working for you and you don't have any problems, then that's great. But I think a lot of people just maybe even fool themselves that initial placebo effect. Oh, I'm doing the fruitarian diet. I feel great. Yeah, long term, don't know. Um, I've been doing this for going on now 2.5 years, and I feel great. So that's my measure for the time being. And
Mm,
yeah, as far as it
yeah.
goes, I don't know of any other diet that will improve your eyesight like it has done for me and so many other people. That's just the bottom line.
And when you think about the body's ability to heal, we see our bodies heal on the outside, right? But we've been almost hoodwinked for our entire lives into believing that, well, your body can heal on the outside, but for healing on the inside, we need medical intervention, we need pharmaceutical drugs, we need
Mm.
all this kind of stuff. So it's so hard for people to wrap their head around. Like, if you're eating a nutritious diet, um, that's giving you all the vitamins and minerals you need, probably your body's gonna be able to take care of a lot of the healing on its own.
Mm, mm. I think there's I mean, when I talk to people about anti-nutrients and nutrient being blocked, the absorption being blocked, I think their eyes glaze over. It's just like, oh, that's not really a thing, you know. It's not as bad as what he's saying, but no, it's a real thing. And I make this specific one that's quite important for eyesight is zinc, and Dr. Paul Mason talks about it quite readily, with zinc being 100% blocked in the context of eating corn and 50% blocked in the context of eating certain types of beans. So that's an anti-nutrient. If corn is 100% blocking the absorption of zinc, which you need for your eyes, that's the definition of an anti-nutrient. So if you've got lots of corn in your diet, well, that's not great, is it? And yeah, corn is in a lot of ultra processed food, as far as I'm aware. There's corn chips and corn tortillas and corn this and corn that and high fructose corn syrup. I mean, it seems to be one of the most subsidized things out there, apart from wheat, I guess, but and soy, awful stuff.
Mm.
Yeah, sorry.
No, I think, that's a good point, you know, one of the things when you talk about corn, um, most people think about a vegetable, but corn is actually a grain. Which, you
Yeah.
know, and when you look at it in that context and you think, "Okay, well, it's that's another reason it's probably as bad as it is."
Mm, mm. You know, I love the idea that corn and apples and things like this. There used to be these gnarly, woody, sort of fibrous things that we've genetically modified through selection or under the microscope. Um, so yeah, I'd hate to think if we go back a few thousand years, just what type of corn it might have been, because it's definitely not sweet corn that we have these days. That's for sure.
Yeah, it'd be more like a table leg or something.
Yeah, fiber in, fiber out. That's all I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, what's coming out is pretty much the same, but yeah, it's
Mm.
Um, so, Sean, if people want to reach out to you, how can they find your YouTube channel?
Sure. So YouTube is Eyes on Carnivore. Please come and subscribe. The we've been doing a lot better with the video structures. It's not just me coming on and randomly talking, which is what it was initially. So just off the cuff, no planning. So now I'm doing a bit of scripting and a lot more research. And what with the better eyesight, I'm able to do things, which is great. And so all social media as well. You can find me Eyes on Carnivore. There's a Facebook group, Eyes on Carnivore. Um, Drop me a message if you like. You can email me eyesoncarnivore@gmail.com. And yeah, I'm happy to respond to anybody that I can offer some help. Although, I'm probably more inclined to suggest to people if they need help, uh, go to go to one of the carnival coaches that has that training and experience. I can just tell you what my experience is, my personal journey. Um, Offering advice as to what to do on a daily basis. That's not my job.
Mm. No, no worries. I'll link to your socials in the show notes. Sean,
Cool.
thank you so much for coming back on and letting us know how things are going. I really appreciate your time.
Great. Thank you very much, Dave. You're a legend.